An unexpected development at the Philadelphia Eagles OTAs this week shook what everyone believed was one of the few settled questions of this entire offseason, my friend, and it has nothing to do with the A.J. Brown trade, the salary cap, or any of the dramas that have dominated the conversation over the last several weeks. It has to do with the most important position in professional football. And what reporters saw on the first open OTA day at the Jefferson Health Training Complex was something that virtually nobody was anticipating. The quarterback hierarchy below Jalen Hurts may be far less defined than the franchise had suggested throughout the entire offseason. What Jeff Kerr of SI saw at that practice session, what it reveals about the franchise's real plans for Hurts' backup, and why Cole Payton is the most unpredictable variable in the entire equation, you are going to understand all of it right here. If you are a true Eagles fan, hit that like button and subscribe right now, because the quarterback battle nobody saw coming could be the most intriguing development of this entire summer in Philadelphia. The Eagles' quarterback depth chart looked completely settled. Jalen Hurts as the unquestioned starter. Tanner McKee as the QB2, the first to be called upon if Hurts needs to come off the field. Andy Dalton as the veteran QB3, there to provide leadership and emergency capability. And Cole Payton as the fourth quarterback, the fifth-round rookie trying to earn a spot in an already crowded room. 4 quarterbacks, apparently clear roles, no surprises expected. And then reporters were admitted to the first open OTA of the week and saw exactly the opposite. Andy Dalton was receiving the QB2 reps. Tanner McKee was not. Before any dramatic conclusions are drawn, context matters. Jeff Kerr made clear in his SI piece that this is not necessarily a permanent reversal of the hierarchy. McKee took the QB2 reps in Tuesday's closed practice session that had no media coverage. The rotation of reps between Dalton and McKee is being done on a daily basis, with both quarterbacks alternating the backup role in different sessions. What the Eagles coaching staff is doing is exactly what they should be doing at this stage of the offseason, ensuring that both quarterbacks understand Sean Mannion's system deeply enough to function when needed. But the logic behind Dalton receiving QB2 reps goes beyond a simple practice rotation, and that is exactly where the analysis becomes genuinely interesting. When the QB2 takes reps with the second-team offense, he is throwing to the receivers, tight ends, and linemen who will actually be part of the real 53-man roster in September. The Eagles' second-team unit is not composed of camp bodies. It is composed of players with legitimate chances of appearing in game situations during the regular season. For Dalton, accumulating time with that group is fundamentally different from simply watching Hurts work with the first team. And there is an argument that Kerr himself raised that makes this situation even more loaded with meaning. The Eagles have 2 backups capable of starting NFL games. McKee, who had a solid training camp in 2023 and has remained a reliable backup presence since then, is 26 years old with genuine developmental upside. Dalton has 15 years of NFL experience, 169 starts, and 3 Pro Bowl selections. That kind of depth behind the starter is not common across the league. And when a franchise has 2 backups that the market would value as emerging starters or high-level backups elsewhere, the front office inevitably begins calculating the trade value of those players. Kerr's analysis was direct in articulating that scenario. The Eagles could explore trading McKee if they find the right trade partner. And that is exactly where Dalton receiving QB2 reps gains an additional layer of meaning. If Dalton is the visible QB2 during the sessions reporters attend, and if that creates a market perception of him solidifying the primary backup role, McKee becomes available for trade with a favorable narrative attached. You are not selling a quarterback who lost the second spot to a veteran under competitive pressure. You are selling a young quarterback with developmental upside that the franchise has sufficient depth to move on from. The market for McKee is more specific than a generic quarterback trade, and understanding it is what makes the compensation estimate believable. Teams in rebuild mode with young starters who need a veteran presence to push them in training camp represent the most logical buyers. But the more interesting category is contending teams that lost a backup to injury or free agency and need a 26-year-old quarterback with system familiarity and championship-adjacent experience at a cost that does not compromise their cap flexibility. McKee spent the last 2 years inside a professional environment built around Jalen Hurts. He has absorbed the preparation habits, the film study approach, and the week-to-week discipline of a franchise that has been to 2 Super Bowls. That institutional knowledge has real value to any organization that is buying a backup, not just a practice squad quarterback. The return a McKee trade could bring to Philadelphia is modest, but Kerr mentioned 20. 27 draft compensation as a realistic scenario. On a franchise trying to accumulate draft capital for the Jalen Carter, Quinyon Mitchell, and Cooper DeJean extensions over the next 2 years, any pick addition that does not cost an immediate impact player carries real value. And McKee, who is under contract and has legitimate market interest, is exactly the type of asset Howie Roseman loves to use as trade currency when the right price appears. But there is a variable in this entire balance that could change everything before training camp even opens: Cole Payton. The fifth-round quarterback out of the University of Houston arrived with a different profile than any other rookie quarterback the Eagles have brought in during the recent past. The coaching staff is not thinking about him purely as a developmental quarterback. They are actively considering using him as an H-back, a player who uses his quarterback skills to create problems for defenses in unconventional ways within Sean Mannion's offense. At this week's OTAs, Payton was seen only in 7-on-7 situations, the non-contact practice format that shows route running and decision-making, but does not expose him to pass rush speed or line pressure. What Payton presents when the pads come on in July is the real unknown. If he demonstrates in practice that Mannion's system creates the right spaces to exploit his skills as a hybrid player, the conversation about keeping 4 quarterbacks on the 53-man roster could resolve in a way that nobody is currently predicting. The Eagles' track record with day 3 quarterbacks is complicated, but the H-back argument for Payton creates a different evaluation category. Clayton Thorson was selected in 2019 and cut without playing a single regular season. Snap. Kyle McCord was the 6th-round pick of 2025 and was released before the regular season. Payton arrived with a potential role that neither of those predecessors had. If the coaching staff can develop the system around the player convincingly before training camp ends, he will not be competing for a 4th quarterback spot. He will be competing for a specialized position player role that carries an entirely different value for the roster. Andy Dalton, meanwhile, is the best-positioned quarterback of all to enter this summer and consolidate his role within the system. At a salary of $1.5 million, he creates no cap pressure on the franchise regardless of which role he fills. 15 years in the league, including a start with the Carolina Panthers last season, guarantee that whatever function the coaching staff asks of him will be executed with the consistency of a seasoned professional. If McKee is traded during training camp, Dalton automatically assumes the QB2 role without needing any adjustment period. The situation the Eagles have created at the quarterback position is uncommon across the league. They have a starter under public scrutiny for the first time since he took over the role. They have a young backup with real trade value. They have a 15-year veteran who can be the QB2 if needed. And they have a rookie who could be something completely different from all 3. 4 quarterbacks, 4 distinct roles, 4 simultaneous conversations that will resolve themselves over the next 60 days before the 53-man roster is finalized. Training camp will answer all of these questions at once. But what this week's OTAs revealed is that the only certainty in the Eagles' quarterback group for 2026 is Jalen Hurts. Everything below him, the order, the number of players kept, and each player's role, is being evaluated in real time with far more open eyes than any pre-OTA analysis had suggested. With Andy Dalton taking QB2 reps on the first open OTA day, Tanner McKee as a potential trade asset with a clearly defined buyer market, and Cole Payton being developed as a player with a potentially unique role within Mannion's system, what is your prediction? Do the Eagles go into Week 1 with 4 quarterbacks on the roster, or does this summer battle result in a trade that nobody is currently seeing with clarity? Leave your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back later with the latest Eagles news.